Hi, everyone. Welcome to Training 3, Recipe Building. My name is Chrissy. I'm a Customer Success Manager here at MarketMan. And today I'll be guiding you through recipes and menu profitability. We'll cover sub-recipes and preparations, menu items, cookbook, allergens, and a quick dive into menu profitability. Let's get started. Let's first dive into the types of recipes that we have in MarketMan. First is a menu item. Menu items are going to be the main item, likely coming directly from your point of sale system. This will be an entree like a burger or a salad or a pizza. Then we have sub-recipes and preparations. Sub-recipes and preparations are something that's usually made ahead of time, like a sauce or a soup that's put together early in the week. And then lastly, we have modifiers. Modifiers can be like add-ons or substitutions. For example, add ketchup or substitute a turkey burger. Let's start by heading into MarketMan and going into our inventory dropdown. The first thing we're going to start with is our sub-recipes and preparations. Sub-recipes and preparations are very similar, except for the way that they deplete from your inventory. A sub-recipe is going to be depleting when it's purchased through the POS system, where a preparation is going to deplete when you make a production event. We'll go over production events shortly. Let's start by creating a sub-recipe. To create a sub-recipe, we'll start by clicking this green Add button. First, we're going to name our recipe. We'll also want to add it to a category. The next thing we want to cover is the yield and unit of measurement quantity that we make in a typical batch. For my Alfredo sauce, I typically make it in 1 gallon. This is my overall yield. Next, we'll want to go ahead and start listing the ingredients. By clicking this Add button, we can search our inventory for all of our raw ingredients that go into making this sauce. It's important to note that you always want to pick the item that says purchase next to it, because this is the raw ingredient coming from your inventory list. For this batch, I use 1 gallon of milk for my entire Alfredo sauce. But under this dropdown, I can see multiple options of liquid form of measurement for my milk in case I wanted to use a smaller amount. I also add cheese to my Alfredo sauce. As I add these items, you'll see a price formulating here. This is going to take into account the current price for all of the ingredients listed and how much of that ingredient I'm using, giving me an overall cost per unit of measurement, in this case gallon, and per entire recipe. Let's go ahead and click these little save icons. You can continue adding as many ingredients as you need for each recipe. There is no limit. The next thing we'll want to do is place this item into a storage area. I typically keep my Alfredo sauce in the fridge. I can also add a minimum on hand and par level if I want to keep track of how much Alfredo sauce I have at a time and if I want to be notified when I am getting low. I can also add it to my inventory counts here. If you scroll down, you can add a prep time, cook time, and overall cooking instructions and any notes about this item. Right now, this is currently a sub-recipe. If I wanted to define it as a preparation, I would go ahead and click this box here and press save. As you can see, I have some items listed as sub-recipe and some listed as preparation. We typically like to start all items as sub-recipes, and then we can move them into a preparation if necessary. The sub-recipe is going to assume that there is always an amount on hand. And then when it's ordered through the POS system, it will deplete from your inventory. Whereas a preparation, the system will need to be told when you're making this by running a production event. To run a production event, we'll head back into our inventory dropdown and click Production Events. Here you'll see a list of all previous production events, and you can create a new one by clicking Add. You'll write a description for what you're making, the date, you can filter by different categories, and then how much is being made. I made 16 ounces, so I did one 16-ounce pack, and go ahead and press Save. This will now automatically delete all of the ingredients that go into my brewed espresso. Preparations are more of a detailed way of keeping track of your items, where sub-recipes avoid one extra step. So if you want to keep things a little bit more simple, you can just leave everything as a sub-recipe. But if you want to have a little bit more detailed information, you can always change it to a preparation. Once we've completed all of our sub-recipes and preparations, we'll want to head over to our menu items. Remember, menu items are the main dish that's coming directly from our point of sale system or uploaded into the system. These are entrees, these are appetizers, the entire dish. Heading into the inventory dropdown, we'll go ahead and click Menu Items. Your menu items should be automatically uploaded here. Let's start by creating my BLT sandwich. When I click into BLT, I will get a pop-up where I'll build out the recipe. Up on the top, you'll see the item name, the retail price coming in from your point of sale system or uploaded, and then you could pick a category. My BLT is an entree. Next, I'll want to begin adding all of the ingredients that go into one individual BLT order, just like when I make my sub-recipe. We'll start off with bacon. This is the purchase item of bacon coming directly from my inventory list. It's important that I pick purchase item to include the raw usable ingredient and not menu item. I use about 6 ounces of bacon. When I click this drop down, I'll be able to see all of the different units of measurement that I can use this bacon in. Next, I have tomatoes. My tomatoes I purchase by the each, so I'm only showing each as my tomato unit of measurement. It's good to note, though, that I can bounce back and forth to the tomato ingredient by clicking Edit Item. This will pull me into the purchasing option for my beefsteak tomato. Since I purchased them by the 10 eaches, the 10 tomatoes, but I want to use them in ounces, I can go into the advanced item definition here and click this drop down. I'll be able to choose a different unit of measurement form. For example, I want to use my beefsteak tomato in ounces. Now, when I go ahead and press Save, the system will ask me for a conversion. Since I purchased 10 tomatoes at a time, I need to define how many ounces 10 tomatoes typically is. You can do this by weighing out your tomatoes next time you purchase them, or looking through our conversion guide. I know my beefsteak tomatoes are about 8 ounces each, and I'm buying 10 of them, so overall it will be 80 ounces. Now I can go ahead and use my tomato in ounces. I put 2 ounces into my BLT. Lastly, I can add sub-recipes into this section. For example, my BLT has a special sauce. The special sauce I make in-house. To add the special sauce sub-recipe, I will just search for the sub-recipe name, and you can see it populates here at the bottom as sub-recipe. And 1 fluid ounce goes into this. As you add ingredients, you'll notice a cost developing here on the side, and this is the cost of the unit of measurement and how much is going into each one of these items. You'll also see an overall total recipe cost and food cost percentage as well, calculated by all of the ingredients and current pricing in MarketMan. You can also set a max food cost. By setting a max food cost, you will get an alert when your food cost ever rises above this max. For example, my food cost is currently 13.57%, but I want a notification if it ever hits 15%. That way I know I need to up the price of my BLT. There are a few other types of recipes. For example, Coke bottle. A bottle of Coke can be sold in my restaurant, and this recipe is fairly simple. It is just 1-for-1. One bottle of Coke from my inventory is one bottle of Coke sold. We also have modifier recipes. These are add-ons or substitutions. Coming back into MarketMan, let's search for our substitutions. As you can see, I have sub turkey burger as a modifier. For this recipe, I'll want to add one turkey burger, but I'll also want to add one negative regular burger because I'm substituting my turkey burger and my beef burger. -1. This allows the system to deplete one turkey burger, but not deplete one beef burger when a substitution is used. On any of your menu items, you can also add a procedure. You can add a picture here, prep time, cook time, any cooking instructions, and any information about this item. You also have the ability to add allergens. Let's go over adding allergens in bulk. Heading over to the inventory dropdown, let's click allergens. Allergens can be defined in bulk or by individual item, whether it's on the purchase item level, sub-recipe, or menu item or modifier level. Let's start by filtering by a category. For example, I can filter by dairy, and all items that are dairy will populate here. I can check off all of my dairy items. I can go to Actions, mark as no allergens, or bulk update. When you click bulk update, based on your country's FDA guidelines, a list of allergens will appear. Simply check off if it contains, may contain, or does not contain any of these allergens. For my cheese, I know that they contain milk, but does not contain any of these other ingredients. I'll go ahead and mark them as validated and press save. This is notifying me that I am updating multiple items at once. Now that I've updated all of my dairy products, I can see what they contain or do not contain. Now, any recipe that contains any of these products will be listed as containing milk. All of this information will also flow over to the cookbook. Let's take a look at the cookbook by going into the inventory dropdown and clicking cookbook. You'll see a compilation of all of the recipes that you've built. When you click into an item, you'll see the picture that is uploaded, all of the ingredients, a procedure, and if there are any allergens. You can also print this page. Going back to the cookbook, you can update your recipes here, make any edits, add different categories, or export the entire cookbook for your staff. The cookbook can also be viewed directly on the MarketMan app. The next thing I want to go over is the menu profitability report. Under the inventory dropdown, click Menu Profitability. The menu profitability report will pull in all sales from the current time period. You can filter by the time period up on top here, and you can filter by top profit or top sold items here. It's important to note the menu profitability report will only be accurate if all of your recipes are built. So for example, an item may seem high in profit if there is a missing recipe. You can see I have a lot of sales for my special pizza here, but with no recipe, it looks like it's entirely profit. Once the recipe is built, you'll be able to see a recipe cost and a more accurate value for profit. We'll go over the menu profitability report in more detail in training 4 once you have a majority of your recipes built. I'll now open it up to any questions, But remember, you can always reach out to our support team directly by clicking this green question mark or emailing them at support@marketman.com. Thanks.